Hi all, Wonton here with a really basic introduction to the Harvest League mechanic. This is the advice I wish I had heard before I started, because as we all know, PoE rarely does a good job of explaining its own mechanics. Okay, first off, zones in Harvest League will contain a seed cache, which will drop some tier 1 seeds. Planting these in the Sacred Grove will make them grow after a few growth cycles. A growth cycle happens each time you click a seed cache. There are 3 colors of seeds, pink, yellow, and blue. To be harvested, they need to be within 2 squares of a collector that matches the color. So the simplest way of growing tier 1 seeds is just in a 5x5 grid with a collector at the center. There's even a button on collectors that just auto-plants tier 1 seeds in range. Finally, you can only harvest if there's 8 fully grown seeds in range. Okay, so you've clicked the button, you've killed the enemies, you're staring at this screen. Now what? Well, go ahead and use the crafts if you want. The number on the right is the life force cost, and the one on the left shows how many uses you have. This was based on the seeds you planted. If there's no crafts you really need, you can instead convert that life force into condensed life force. This is a one-way process. Condensed life force can't be used to craft things, but it will become important later as a sort of fuel. So, to store your condensed life force, you need a storage tank. The first one's free, and a pylon. You can think of pylons as connectors. They're like the USB cables of your farm. Connect the pylon to the storage tank and the collector, and then click the condense button. All that life force will go into the tank, and now if you want, you can just control-click all your equipment and pick it back up. It keeps its storage even in your inventory. Nothing in the farm needs to be permanent, you can move things around as you wish. By the way, pylons inherit the color of whatever they're connected to, and you can never connect differently colored systems together. So if some pylons aren't making a connection, it might be because you're trying to connect like a blue system to a yellow system. For the first step of building up your farm, I recommend getting 3 storage tanks, 1 of each color, and filling them up as much as you can. They cost 75 to craft, and this confuses some people because most level 1 seeds only give 5 life force, so if you harvest like 8 to 10 seeds, you're not actually gonna have enough life force to ever craft a tank. It's better to be patient, wait for like 15, 20, 24 seeds to grow, and harvest all of them at once, which will give you the necessary life force to craft a storage tank. Okay, you've stored a bunch of life force, and your harvests are probably starting to drop some tier 2 seeds. So these have 2 requirements. First, they need some buddies of the same color next to them. Yellow seeds just need yellow buddies around them. Second, they need to be watered while they're growing with another color of life force. The way to use this is to use a disperser, which is kind of like a sprinkler. Using the pylon, connect the disperser to a system that has that color of life force flowing through it, and you've got yourself a sprinkler system. Keep feeding that storage tank with an attached collector that's harvesting tier 1 seeds, and that life force will keep watering your tier 2 seeds. And then of course, you guessed it, tier 2 seeds can drop tier 3 seeds, which need to be watered by both of the other colors. This is where your farm starts to get pretty complicated, and if you're getting a headache at the idea of that, don't worry. I'll put a link in the description of a pretty basic setup that can grow any type of tier 3 seed. Like everything else in PoE, the system has a brick wall of a learning curve, but once you start to understand that it's actually kind of fun, and I rather enjoyed drawing graph paper sketches of layouts to see how I could irrigate my crops space efficiently. And hey, that's it. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe here on YouTube, go follow me on Twitch, maybe I'll stream sometime this year. This has been Wonton, and thanks for watching.